What if I told you that your rent, the money that you think is keeping you from buying a home, can now actually help you qualify for one? That's just one of the bombshells coming in this 7-part series. And what about PMI, that fee that everyone told you to avoid like the plague? It's now tax deductible in 2026 permanently. And I'm going to show you how to use that as a weapon so that you can buy a home years sooner. As you know, right now, there are thousands of down payment assistance programs out there that so many buyers aren't taking advantage of. And no, they're not just for lower income buyers. And the big one, many of you listening right now, you could get pre-approved today without saving another penny. Not someday, today. You just haven't been shown how the system actually works. Because unfortunately, there's no profit in anybody teaching you how it actually is working right now. This is the 7-part series that's going to give you every step, every tip, and every 2026 update. The complete financial game plan to get you ready to own. Whether that's in 2 weeks or 2 years. Nobody else is explaining this stuff, so I'm going to do it. Let's go.
How to Buy a Home educates, protects, and connects first-time homebuyers to qualified vetted realtors in their area. Whether you're looking for DIY information or step-by-step guidance, How to Buy a Home is the #1 resource for first-time homebuyers.
What is up, my How to Buy a Homies? I'm your host and first-time homebuyer coach, David Sidoni, and this series, it's all about the financial planning that it takes to become a homeowner. Tips that you're not going to find anywhere else. I'm going to go deep into this because the goal is for you to discover all your options and realize what I've been telling first-time homebuyers for 7 years on this podcast. Most of you, you're a lot more ready than you think you are to buy a home. And I've even got the receipts. 72% of all the renters who have reached out to How to Buy a Home for the pre-planning education and coaching, 72% of the people that tell us that they're 12 to 18 months from being ready to buy a home, when they find out the reality, the options, and everything that they're capable of with the right strategy, they were under contract in 3.2 months. And when you follow all these financial tips, you'll be ready much sooner than you think too. This is the 7-part How to Financially Prepare to Buy a Home series, from beginner steps to rarely discussed advanced techniques that are the tricks and the levers that are going to help everybody find their American dream with the new American Dream roadmap. Affordability is possible, and I'm going to show you how. If you haven't already, start with the 10 steps for every first-time home buyer. That's episode 500. And then you can dive deep into all these tactics so you can start your financial preparation for your own personal rent replacement strategy. You can do this. You just haven't been given the modern strategies that are working in a 2027 and 2026 post-COVID run-up market. And I'm going to cover all the 2026 updates on how to use your rent so you can get approved to buy a home, how to save more effectively. I'm going to give you the latest tips on credit scores, credit cards, house hacking, loan approvals for W-2 and 1099 self-employed buyers, student loans, tax benefits that you might not be calculating, house hacking tips, and everything that you need to know to work a savings plan that is affordable and gives you the confidence to know that you're never going to have to worry about being house poor. There's 22 detailed tips in this series, and the goal is to make sure that we can answer the biggest financial question that I hear from most aspiring first-time home buyers. Dude, I want to buy a home, but where the hell do I start? And what do I actually do when I'm saving up? I hear you. Before I get into the 22 tips, let me give you an overall concept. This is going to really help clarify your own personal steps for building your own first-time home buyer perfect financial portfolio. The obvious why for this series, why people need tips to save money to buy a home, is because, well, duh, you need money to buy a home. But there's an extremely important why that you need to know that millions of first-time home buyers don't discover until it's too late. Saving for a home, it's different. It's not the way you saved money in the past. This is different than anything else that you've saved for in your entire life. And financially prepping to buy a home, it's got 2 crucial, unique elements. 1, you have to understand that you're saving specifically to buy a home. And many of you could go out and get approved right now without saving another penny. Don't know if that's the best thing for you, but it is good to know that you've got the money perhaps. Maybe you could just realign your finances, because you need to become approvable to buy a home, not just have a certain amount of money in your savings account. You have to learn what the people who are going to give you a home loan, how they want to see your financial portfolio. This is crucial. It's much more important than just saving money and showing them, hey, here's money in a bank account. No, it's important you understand what they're looking for. The home mortgage lenders, they have a very specific system. And the more time that you have to adjust your finances, adjust your savings so that you can fit into their system, then the more options you're going to have when you're a potential home buyer. And that, my friends, that's the whole ball game. Which leads me to the second crucial element. If you want to buy a home with your maximum buying power, and you do, because that's the way you get the best deal, if you want to give yourself the most winning factors possible, preparing your finances as early as possible, that's the trick. And I'm talking 1 to 2 years before you think you're going to buy a home. This is going to guarantee you more options. Options is your ultimate goal. And here in the middle of 2026 and going into 27, this is imperative. Early preparation is how you dump your rent sooner and become a homeowner with less stress and confusion, and assuring that you get the most benefits and options available to you. And you can do all of this a lot sooner than you think it's possible, even in this market. I'm going to give you 22 tips, and then it's up to you. You can follow the tips and do it all on your own. But like everything when it comes to buying a home, finding the right professional support team early who's willing to offer you expertise, guidance, and coaching through the planning period, that's going to enhance all of these tips in humongous ways. I like to tell everybody, you don't have to do this on your own, despite the way the real estate industry makes you feel. Before I jump into the tips, we got to figure out where you are. Because if you're listening to this, you're in one of 3 saving phases to buy a home. Phase 1, you got no clue. Yes, that is an actual savings phase. I don't care if you're hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt and you've got $17 in your savings account. That is a saving phase, phase 1. And you can start with these tips today. No more guesswork on what you need to do first. The problem with the real estate industry is they don't do jack squat for first-time homebuyers who need help with these early phases. People who just want to plan. What do they tell you? They tell you, nope, you're not approved. And they want you to save up on your own and show up when you're ready so that they can get a quick sale. Turn them and churn them. That's the motto of the real estate industry. And of course, that's not helpful to you at all. So here you are today, phase 1. We're going to give you 22 guided steps that will eventually move you up to phase 2. That's where some of you might be right now. Phase 2. You have a good start going. And now you need some industry specific tips on what you're doing. You realize your rent sucks. You've been saving up for a while and you feel like you might be getting pretty close. So you're really looking to lock in with the real world practical expert tips, the things that are going to help you get you close so you can start seriously looking at homes. Phase 2, I got you as well. And phase 3, you've been doing this for a while. You're super close to buying. Your Zillow scrolling is a full-blown addiction. You're driving neighborhoods, you're visiting houses, and maybe you even talk to a realtor or a lender, but you're not confident you're getting the full picture on all your options and strategies, but you feel like you're almost there. So now you want the insider tips to validate that you're doing this gigantic undertaking correctly and make sure you're not missing any advantages. Got you to phase 3. So we start with tip 1, and keep in mind, each tip is going to build on top of each other. So even if you're in phase 2 or phase 3, you can use the beginner tips to make sure that you have all your ducks, not just in a row, but in like full on military formation. Tip 1 is start with the basics. I know it's a bunch of you out there going, bro, how much do I need to save to buy a home? Okay, that is the how much question. This series, it's the how you do it answers. What you need is going to be different for each of you. So if you want that answer, that all's in the 10 steps. It starts at episode 500. You get more details there, which is going to be probably optimistically surprising for most of you. And once you finish those 10 steps, check out episode 426, or if episode 522 is dropped, check out that one, because that's the 2026 affordable low down payment options for first-time home buyers in a new economic era. That's going to give you your target savings goal. And I can tell you this, if you haven't done that completely, if you don't know this stuff backwards and forwards, there's one thing I'm absolutely positive. Most of you are insanely overestimating how much you need to save. And for some of you, that stopped you from even starting the process. You're going to be shocked when you discover the options available to you. We've got interviews with buyers who bought homes in the $200,000, $300,000, up to $500,000 range. And for many of those buyers, Their total cost in was only $20,000. Some of them were $10,000. And we had quite a few under $5,000 once they discovered. And we even had some savvy buyers who used down payment assistance programs who bought $300,000 and $400,000 homes for less than $1,000. And hey, if you're in a high cost of living area and you're like, dude, that doesn't work for a $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 home, even up to $1 million. We've got stories of people buying those $6, $7, $8 million homes with as little as $100K, $75K, $50,000, and even only $25,000. So as you're going through this, no matter the answer to your personal question, your target number, the goal that you need to hit for your savings, everybody's got the same thing. You all got to start right now. And as you build your plan, the more savings that you have, the more options that are going to be available to you later. So step one, it starts saving right now, like immediately. Automate it now. I don't care if it's $20 a week. Set up the automated savings habit today. This habit, it's the key. Put your money on autopilot. I love automation because it's taking major action steps towards your goal with minimal effort. And soon you're not even going to notice it, not even going to feel it at all. So start small now. Don't worry about what you start with today because you can always adjust along the way. You're going to get such huge rewards when you start automating, and this is going to be the biggest tool in your home savings plan. That's why it's tip number one. And where do you get the funds to automate your savings? Well, that's what the 22 tips are going to show you, but here's a quick start. Track your expenses and see where you overspend and where you can cut back. Hell, I don't care. Make a vision board if it helps you keep your goals in mind. And if you really want to boost your savings so you could stop renting, if you want to go hardcore, try this one. Live on a smaller portion than you do now and then divvy things up differently. Set up a home savings budget. And the way you do that is you set it on percentages of monthly income, not a dollar amount. This is the best and easiest way to get started. Now, the OG theory on this percentages, it comes from a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. Concept is simple. Just live on 70% of what you make. Find contentment and happiness on 70%. And then you can set yourself up for life by dividing up the other 30%. Now, in that book, they divided up 10% for savings, 10% for investing, and 10% to charity. And however you want to do it, that's fine. You can make your percentages in any system that works for you. NerdWallet has recently created a more modern system. It was 50% needs, 30% wants, because we know that people are going to want to travel and do fun things while they're young, and 20% for savings. So rock on, use that 30%. See concerts, travel, shop, eat out, live your best, most exciting life while you're young. But if you have it set up at 50, 30, and you still have that 20% set to fund your automated home savings account, you're going to be in good shape. Set it up however you like. You do you. You could do 60% needs and bills, 20% entertainment, 10% emergency fund, and 10% automated house fund. Or I don't care, you can do 50% needs and bills and then do a 10, 10, 10, 5, and 5. I don't know if I had enough 10s in there, but whatever it is, divide it up for your specific life. A lot of people I know when they're getting ready to buy a home, they'll do 70% for the needs and the bills. They'll do 10% for either charity or like a small emergency fund. And then they'll do a big fat 20% to the automated housing fund. The precise division of the percentages doesn't matter. That's up to you. The key is to make the savings happen first, automated. It's not an account that you deposit into at the end of the month with whatever money is left over. You put the money in there first. Now, a little bonus on this tip, where you're going to automate that savings, that can be important too. Because right now, the average savings account pays almost nothing. I think the last percentage that I saw was 0.38%. At the same time, there are high yield savings accounts that are paying anywhere from 4 to 4.1 to 4.2. Now, if it was at 4.2, if you've got $25,000 saved in a high yield savings account, that means you make about almost $1,000 a year. So there are going to be some websites that tell you, hey, if you're going to say something for a year, look at CDs Well, hold off on doing that until you've done a full financial analysis with a first-time buyer specialized lender, because a lot of you think it's going to be a year, but you might find out that it's going to be faster than that for you, which means you're going to need those funds liquid much sooner than a CD, which has penalties for an early withdrawal. Like I said, 72% of you are way more ready than you think. And in 2026 and 2027, the high yield savings accounts, that's going to be a good bet for you because it's not officially tied, but they tend to follow the Fed rate. And it's July and the Fed rate just decided to hold steady. So that means those higher Fed rates, it's going to get you some good return on the high yield savings account for at least a month, if not through the rest of the year. Okay, let's get into some of the tips on how you want to split up your percentages. When it comes to budgeting, don't deny yourself. Budget how you want to budget and be sure that you review it monthly. I mean, really look at it. Follow the money so that you can see all the consequences and the benefits of what you're doing. We'll get more into that as we get into tip number 2. Before I go there, since we're talking about finances, I just wanted to point out, I'm not sure if you noticed, you've never heard any commercials or sponsors on the How to Buy a Home podcast. I refuse to let the 99% of the real estate industry who are offering, well, let's just say it, putrid levels of service for first-time home buyers. I refuse to let them pay me so they can advertise to you. I started this platform to educate and empower the ignored first-time home buyer, to change the industry from the inside out. And the last thing I want here is national corporations looking to profit from you and rip you off with lame commercials. So if you've gotten anything out of this podcast, if you've gotten any value, make sure you subscribe. And most importantly, share it with a friend. And if you can, write a written review on Apple or Spotify. Podcasts are weird. There's no views. There's no subs. So the only way people know that the podcast is any good is if they see a bunch of good reviews. The revolution right here is real, and I'm not charging you for it, and I'm not going to take any money and let these horrible people come in and give you bad advice. So help me out, write a review so I can keep doing this for free. All right, back to you. Now, tip number 1 was save with a clear vision, like an actual spreadsheet or a budgeting app that you can see. More on that when we get to tip number 3. And the cool thing is, when you set this up, your budgeting's not going to feel like sacrifice or depriving. It's actually going to be giving you permission to hit the goals you want to hit. So automate first, and then if you're ready, set your own custom and personal savings goal that you get from the 10 steps. Starts at episode 500. Then we're going to add in tip number 2, your secret to avoiding being house poor. Stack an emergency fund on top of your automated savings fund. Now, if you already have one, that's cool. Just keep it as it is, but make sure you set up your automated home savings account in a different account. Do not put them in the same place. Do not commingle funds, as they say in the financial world, because we want to make sure that you have clarity. This is going to help eliminate stress. And most importantly, it's also going to give you the confidence in this process when you can see things clearly. So how much should you have in your emergency fund? That's totally up to you, based on your own individual financial factors and your own personal comfort level. Not to mention all the different things that could be going on in your life, your jobs, your potential income. Maybe you've got some investments somewhere. Maybe you've got, potential bailout with friends or family or something like that. I don't know. I can tell you this, do not let some outdated, you need 6 months of emergency reserves. Those rules that people have been giving for years, don't let that be your target until you've discussed all your financial options with your first-time homebuyer specialized lender. Because if you end up trying to save 6 months of reserves and you're actually in a position where you're going to be okay without it, that could mean tens of thousands of dollars of lost rent while you're trying to save up. For some of you, with all your factors involved, maybe you just need a 3-month or a 2-month reserve, or maybe even less. And don't forget, most of you guys are a lot closer than you think. Today's hopeful renter, they can get so discouraged with all the bogus information out there and these hard rules that you have to do this or you're an idiot and you're going to go foreclosed on and be house poor. The bummer is they never actually see the real 2026 and 2027 affordable options. It's less than you think and much more financially sound than people are telling you, because the math of a modern day rent replacement strategy can make so much more of your money work for you faster than you thought you could and in ways you never imagined. And you don't have to save for 5 or 10 years to make this a reality. Listen to episode 523 from the playbook. That's going to give you the big math of the rent replacement strategy. Or if you're listening to that before 523 has dropped, I think 488 is the last time that we did it. And that's going to help you determine the amount of your emergency fund. Because once you have your rent replacement strategy and you figure out the math, now you know what you need to feel safe. But you're also going to be working a plan that is parallel, keeping you safe, but also maximizing your financial future. All right, that's the first 2 tips on how to financially prepare to buy a home. And before I go, let me give you some of the why starting this process as early as possible is fundamentally important to your ultimate success as a first-time home buyer. I just don't want you to go out there and say, hey, I did it. Whew, that's crazy. I bought a home. I want you to go, man, I maximized this deal. Because every real estate transaction, it comes down to 2 things. And the sooner you know this and the sooner you start preparing for it, the more advantages you can get. Everything comes down to 2 things, time and money. The more flexible as a buyer that you are on both of those things, the better deal you can get. First, we start with time. All right, when you prepare for this factor, you got to be as flexible as you can on when you can close because you want to do everything on the seller's timeline. That's going to save you big money because say the seller wants a quicker close. And that would mean if someone could give that to them, they might be willing to sacrifice a little for that. And that usually comes in the form of money. And the same goes if they want a longer period, or maybe they even want what is called a lease back or a rent back, where you close on the home, but they stay for 30 or 60 days. If you have that flexibility, I've seen buyers get discounts in the tens of thousands because they had timing flexibility to close not when it worked for them and the end of their lease, but what was best for the seller. I don't want to be all negative Nancy, but if you're demanding that the timing of the closing of the home be around your timeline because you hadn't prepared for it, expect that to cost you. And you can bet that if you're in a bidding war, buyers with the best flexible timing for the sellers, they're the ones that are going to win the deal. Sometimes even with a price that's thousands or tens of thousands of dollars less than the other offers who couldn't flex to the seller's needs. All right, that's time. So what about the second one, money? Well, that's pretty easy, right? 2 things, super important, time and money. Well, that's why you're here. You want to start saving because in every home purchase, money is the cure-all. Now, I don't mean throwing money at stuff, but I mean having the options for flexibility. It's the difference between living in your dream home or losing it. People ask me all the time, what's the one thing, what's the biggest tip I would give to first-time home buyers? And it's super simple. I say it every time. Start your plan 2 to 3 years ahead of when you think you should with a professional real estate support team, and then start saving money immediately. This is especially crucial. It's vital. It's imperative. And all the words that mean critically important in this new housing economy of 2026 and 2027. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Right now you're buying a home. And unfortunately, if you look at your friends who bought in 2021 and 2022, you kind of got screwed by the housing and rental market. But we're going to find the best way for you to get out of this. And unfortunately, the real estate industry is doing a crappy job showing you, don't stress, man. There is a modern roadmap to the American dream. It exists. It's just not being taught or shared. In today's economy, the why behind all these how-to tips, the 2020 tips coming up, it's so simple, it's stupid. Save as soon as you can. That's going to help you beat the rig game. So you can leave the rent rut ASAP, start taking control of your life, get the stability that you want, because the sooner you start and the more dedicated you are to this plan, the easier buying is going to be in big ways and small. You save to increase your options. That's it. Period. The end. Curtain. And for your own good, do not, I repeat, do not think you have to do all the research and understand everything about your saving options, your home buying options, your loan options before you start saving. Houses cost money, no matter what option you use and how you do it and how well you understand it. So you don't need to understand it all first to start saving. Let me give you a few examples of how starting your savings today can keep you from losing your dream home in the future. Imagine you're negotiating for your dream home and the seller wants to take the fridge. Cool. If you've got the savings not to have to ask for the refrigerator, great, then you're going to get the home. I know it seems insane, but I've seen buyers lose a $500,000 home because it was so tight and they couldn't get to a negotiation on a $2,000 fridge. Or this one, if after the inspection, let's say you did the inspection in your dream home and there were a few cosmetic repairs and the seller just says, you know what, I don't want to cover it. Cool. You can cover it. You've got the options and you're going to be weighing the value, the full financial benefits of the total home versus, yeah, it's all right. I'll fix a few of these things. We've got the finances set in place. Because if that home checks enough boxes and is a great overall value for you with all the tangible and intangible items, if you've got that savings plan that you've been working diligently over time, you're not going to lose that dream home that checks all the boxes. You're not going to be stuck without a financial option so that you feel like you can close on the home comfortably. When it comes to time and money, the buyers with wiggle room, they win. They get their dreams fulfilled, while unprepared buyers, unfortunately, sometimes they lose homes over really small items. Let these examples inspire you on how to save and why you should start now. Are you sensing a theme from steps 1 and 2? This is a now thing. And again, don't stress. Starting small is fine, because starting early, that's what's going to set you up for the maximum success. Buying your first home should be a long process, and the planning should be started years before you think you can afford it. I've seen this number one mistake for 20 years. First-time homebuyers wait too long to start the planning because they don't know where to start. They've got no clue how close they are today, and they think, well, you know what? Why should I even start? I'm a ways out. Telling you, you're closer than you think. And I got 20 more tips that are going to give you the confidence to become an elite first-time home buyer, miles ahead of the rest of the renters, blindly saving and hoping one day they're going to be ready. Yes, very big air quotes on be ready. You're probably ready. Get started. The remaining steps, the 20 tips I'm going to give you, they're all going to be practical, actionable things that you can do. Get on it. Start parts edit. So get on it, start tips 1 and 2, and we're going to get to the rest of the list in the next episode. You can do this.
Looking for more DIY education or your own personal step-by-step guidance through the home buying journey? Since 2019, How to Buy a Home has been the #1 resource for first-time home buyers. So visit howtobuyaHome.com to get started.